Hello, welcome back. Today I'm out in the Bluestack Mountains in County Donegal, quite close to home, which is nice, and just over there behind me, just up over the top of that ridge, is the highest point of the actual Bluestacks range. It's not named on the maps, but on mountainviews.ie it's named as Croaghgorm, which is the Irish for the Bluestack Mountains, Croagh meaning hill and Gorm meaning blue. So, and I'm actually sitting looking across. I'll show you in maybe a different clip. I'm actually looking across the top of Sruell Gap to Lava Moor, which is the second highest peak in the Bluestack Mountains. So the plan is to go across Sruell Gap, across the head of the gap, and climb up to the top of Lava Moor before contouring around the other side of, or dropping back down and going across the top of the ridge above the Grey Mare's tail waterfall, and then dropping back down into the bottom of Sruell Gap where I started this morning. It's a 9-kilometre walk altogether, but it's a pretty tough walk. It's been steadily up the whole way since I left the van, and thankfully there's I've 5.5 kilometers done, and 5 kilometers of that was on a rough track that the local farmer has carved out of the side of the hill, so that made going a wee bit easier. Definitely made navigation easy anyway. And along the way I passed over Croaghgorm far southwest top. Yep, far southwest top, and Croaghgorm southwest top. So I've two summits already done, and very shortly I'll be going up onto the highest point, and that'll be my 3rd summit of the day, and then Lavamore will be the 4th. And I think there is a marked summit over at the top of Sruell Gap as well, along the ridge after Lavamore. So that should give me 5 summits today if I get all of it done. This walk has a bit of significance for me. Well, it's significant because it's my first time going to the highest point of the Bluestack Mountains. You know, I've been living here most of my life, and I've been doing a fair bit of hill walking over the last sort of 20-25 years, I suppose, but I never thought, I don't know if I just never thought I'd be able to get up here. You know, whether it was something that was out of my capabilities or what, but I came here a year ago, just over a year ago, in the middle of April 2022, and with the intentions of doing the actual loop that I'm doing now. That wasn't a nice day. I had a lot of anxiety. Don't know if I had a lot of anxiety at the time, or you know, whether the walk brought out, or the thought of doing the walk brought out anxiety in me that I wasn't expecting. But the whole way driving over here, I was trying to come up with excuses not to do the walk. And then when I got to the start point, the cloud was down quite low. It was, you know, you couldn't see the tops of the hills. So it wasn't a day for walking. But what really annoyed me was I felt like I used the weather as an excuse not to do the walk and give in to the anxiety. And as I said, this walk has then gained a certain amount of significance for me. I've done longer and I've probably done harder walks, but at the back of my mind this has felt like one that I couldn't do. So I'm really pleased to be halfway around it now today. It is a challenging walk, there's no two doubts about it. Any walk in the Bluestack Mountains is hard going. They're not the highest mountains in the world, but the terrain is tough. It's very undulating. There can be a lot of wet ground, bog, grass and heather and so on, although up here it's not actually too bad. I have a feeling that when I drop down into the top of Sruell Gap before I head up Lavamore, that's going to be difficult navigation through there, difficult terrain to pass through, so I'm going to have to be very careful. But yeah, a significant day for me. I've actually, just to add a wee bit more significance, I brought my drone back out again today for the first time since I crashed it in the waterfall back in Gorts and Glens. When I sent it back to DJI, they declared it written off and unrepairable. But they did me a discounted deal just to replace the actual drone, the flying section of it, the drone bit. I don't know what the hell you call it, but the actual drone itself. And they replaced that. Obviously I paid for it, and the first thing I did when I activated it about 2 weeks ago was I took out the insurance. So if I crash it again, fingers crossed I haven't crashed it today, it'll be a lot cheaper to replace it. So yeah, I've taken some drone footage on the way up, but it's actually very windy. The weather's lovely today. It's lovely and bright and dry and warm in the sunshine, but it's actually really windy as well in the exposed areas. So I had it up earlier on. I was actually getting a wind warning, so I don't think I'm going to be able to take it out up at the top of the ridge, and I'm not sure how much more how much more footage I'm going to get in the drone today. But I hope to get a good shot of the Grey Mare's tail waterfall, because it's quite impressive, and I think it'd make a great shot in the drone, so hopefully that plays out later on. But anyway, I've had my lunch here just in a wee sheltered area out of the wind, and I've about 50 metres of climbing to do to get up onto the top of the ridge and up to the highest point. up to Croaghgorm itself. So as always, thanks for joining me on one of these walks, and I hope you're enjoying it so far, and I hope you enjoy the rest of what you see today. Talk to you later. Bye bye. Well, I made it up to the top of Croaghgorm, and it nearly blew off my feet. I could feel the wind rising as I was getting near the top, so I actually switched from my baseball cap to the beanie hat, because I figured it was going to be pretty cold on the top. And geez, that was a good idea, because the beanie nearly blew off my head. It was so windy, it was unreal, but absolutely brilliant. Loved it. It's marked on the map as a trig point, and David Herman's book, the route that he's the guy that actually where I found the route originally, he described that there's nothing there, but he said there's 2 small cairns. Now that book was written quite a long time ago, and since then somebody's actually established a fairly reasonably sized cairn on the top, and it's hollow in the centre, and inside that is the base plate for not for a trig point, but for the rods and the equipment that they would have used. They would have set, you flipped up the top of the lid and you would have set the equipment inside that. So really pleased to find that as well, because I just assumed that there was no trig point up there. My route has changed slightly now. I've decided to make an amendment. I'm 7.5 kilometres into the walk now, and it's 2:30, and I'm really enjoying it. However, that there big lump behind me is Lava Moor, and I've decided I'm not going up there now for a couple of reasons. One of them's a cop-out, I have to say. I don't fancy climbing up that bloody hill, but I don't know if I have the fitness just to tackle that hill without absolutely killing myself. It's actually starting to rain here a wee bit now, but the wind is ferocious, and where I'm standing here now, I'm completely out of the wind, which is nice, and it's quite warm. But I just don't fancy climbing all the way up to the top of Lava Moor with a strong wind on my back, getting blue off my feet on the top, and then having to come along the top of the ridge above the Sruell Gap, and with a very, very strong wind at my side. It just doesn't sound like fun. The second reason is I've just discovered this track that I'm on. It's not marked on a map anywhere. I have a feeling it shouldn't be here, but it is here, and I'm going to use it. Everywhere I've seen people talking about walking in the Sruell Gap is that it's incredibly wet, following the river down. Now, from up on the top of the hill, this track seems to sit above the river and follow along the edge of the ridge. So I'm going to take this back down to the farm and use this as an easier way down through the Sruell Gap. The bonus of that, and the real reason I want to do it, is it's going to bring me across the bottom of the Grey Mare's Tail waterfall that I so want to see. A lot of times the Grey Mare's waterfall is running reasonably dry, but from what I could see earlier on today, there's a good bit of water coming off it. Fingers crossed. I don't think it's going to happen. I want to get my drone up as well, but I just want to see it and just take some photographs of it from the bottom. If I don't follow the gap down, it means that I'd be crossing the top of the waterfall and I wouldn't get to see it in all its glory. So I think that's a worthwhile excuse for not climbing up that big bugger of a hill behind me. Yeah, anyway, I better get on here now. I'm on the last bit of the walk now. You can see the Sruell Gap there just behind me, and I'm really pleased that I decided not to go across the top and to come down along the track. Just the valley is just beautiful, absolutely amazing. At the head of the valley, I was looking across the far side, and you had all the streams coming down, running down into the river at the bottom. Loads of little waterfalls and so on, and then as you walk on down the valley, you really get the feeling that you're walking in the valley. The cliffs up and the hills rising on both sides, absolutely amazing. And I just loved it so much, and I've never felt so glad that I changed the route in my life before. I've loved this, absolutely loved it. I actually preferred the descent down through the valley than I did climbing up to the top, although I loved getting up to the top. I just couldn't get there to enjoy it with the wind. But coming down the valley was just absolutely amazing. As I said, I can't describe how much I loved it. And then, icing on the cake, the Grey Mare's Tail waterfall, and I got to fly the drone, and hopefully that footage has come out. I took loads and loads of photographs, but wow, it is absolutely amazing. And there's not even a lot of water coming off it today. After a period of heavy rain, it must be absolutely breathtaking, but I'm just count myself so lucky to have seen it and experienced it today. And if I'd have gone across the tops, I wouldn't have seen it. So absolutely chuffed to bits that I changed the route. I'm almost back at the van here now as well. I've been bothering the sheep the whole way back along the last few hundred meters. They've all got lambs now on the hill, on the side of the hill, so they're very protective of them, and I'm being careful, trying to be careful as I could not to annoy them. Past an old ruined house back there, and God, the view it has up the valley and of the waterfall. Yes, it must have been a hard existence living here, but wow, what scenery to waking up to every morning. Yeah, unbelievable just living in this spot. As I said, it wouldn't have been an easy life living here, but Jesus, just it would be an amazing place to come and live now. Anyway, that's Croaghgorm done, the highest point of the Bluestack Mountains. That's the Sruell Valley Loop done as well. As I said, it's been a bit of a bugbear of mine for the last year or so, and I had a built way up in my head that it was going to be very difficult to do, and that I might not be capable of doing it. So hopefully that's finally that bubble burst. I hope to go back to Croaghgorm at some stage during the summer. I want to do the iconic Bluestack Ridge Walk, which is about somewhere between 30 and 40 kilometers, and I want to do that as an overnight walk with a wild camp halfway as well. So that's the other reason I wasn't that bothered about not getting up Lava more, because that walk will take in that as well. So listen, if you're interested in seeing some more of these walks, just remember, hit the subscribe button, and one request please, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, because it really does help share this video out to other people that would enjoy it as well. And as always, thanks for coming along and walking with me today, and I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.